Hello, welcome to Surix plays Electric Sleep. I saw this game randomly on itch.io and it's some kind of text-based story? I don't really know, but let's experience it together. Let's just dive on in. Thanks for playing the Electric Sleep demo, no problem. Let's continue. Can we go? How do I advance the story? Oh, here we go. It's like a switch being turned on. You are awake. Oh, yes. But until now, you did not know you had been asleep. Ooh. There is glass in front of you. You raise a hand, and the glass moves to one side. You walk out into the small room. What is this place? Is it meant for rest? For containment? Behind you, there are rows of identical glass cylinders, each holding a sleek gray shape. But they do not stir, while here you are, awake. How long have you been sleeping, and why can't you remember anything? The few square meters of the room that are not taken up by these dormant figures contain a ladder rising through a hole in the ceiling and a computer terminal, glowing faintly. This will contain more information. There is a delay as your legs respond to their new instructions, and you lean unsteadily against the frame of the machine once you eventually reach it. You wipe a square of its screen free of dirt and peer at the flickering text beneath. The message seems broken or unfinished. We had to leave, build something, make something, find them. Turning back, repeated attempts to wake your fellow occupants of this place end in failure. ... Finally, you realize the only way out, the only path towards any further answers, is to head upwards. You grip the sides of the ladder firmly, and with a slight clang of metal on metal, steel yourself to the ascent ahead and pull yourself upwards. I think I'm a robot. I think I read in the description I'm a robot in this world. You reach the final rung of the ladder, almost banging your head against a metal hatch that blocks your exit. Doing! You brace yourself against its weight, and with a push, you lift it over your head, stepping out into a rough clearing, framed by trees. In front of you, there are remnants of brick and metal that outline what was a structure of some sort, alongside piles of material that suggest half-finished attempts at rebuild. Through the trees, to one side, you can see areas of blue. In the opposite direction, a path enters the undergrowth. Farther away, there's a sound of running water. You pause. A bird flies overhead. The sun is high in the sky. This is a start, at least. Moving closer, you trace the oblong of what would have been brick walls, scanning for information, feeling for wires, objects, accessible data. Data? How do you guys pronounce it? But the gray slabs reveal nothing to you. There is no need to linger. The skeletal building casts long shadows, the spots of blue against green among the trees. What? I like trees. The spots of blue against green among the trees draw your eye. Yes. Why is this? The reasoning is not obvious, but you find yourself striding towards the source of this effect of light. Stepping between low boughs, the blue comes into focus. You have found a river. Ooh, I like nature. Ooh. A river stretches out in front of you, its water high against its banks. Its flow steady and propulsive. It skirts back and forth, in and out of the forest, and around a few crumbling towers, small and long abandoned, that seem to mark its progress. You attach yourself to the river's route / route. I like never just certain words when I don't know how I want to pronounce it. I pronounce it both ways. An aged bridge rises from the undergrowth. Attach yourself to the river's route. So I'm guessing that just means I can walk along the river, or I want to go to the bridge. I think I would walk along a river. I don't think I would go to a bridge. You attach yourself to the river's route / route on this side of the bank, willing to endure its twists and turns in the hope that its solid progress can somehow be reflected in your own journey. Each spiraling eddy and change of current catches your attention as though it might hide some fresh reveal or instruction for existence. You follow the water. as it runs forward, dips gradually, and then empties into what appears to be a large lake. This flat, open body of water extends far into the distance, and on its far shore a collection of buildings is visible, arranged along the water's edge. Such is the deception of perspective that it is not clear whether they are hours of travel away, or days, or even weeks. A small wooden bridge crosses the lake, or the pooling water varies second by second. Well, let's cross the lake. Let's cross the lake. Let's go to the other side and explore the other side. A small wooden bridge crosses the lake at its narrowest point, heading away from the buildings in the distance, and you step carefully onto it, testing it against your weight. There is no telling the exact distance and meandering of the lake edge. Better to follow this evidence of construction, however ramshackle it might appear. You stop at its midpoint, leaning against a low railing, and absorb this newfound sense of scale out here in the open air. Recalibrated, you complete your journey to the other side, and whatever new features it might contain. Ooh. Aw, more metal. I like nature. Here, vegetation rapidly gives way to concrete, and the multitudes of environment change to a single clear direction. It's weird, in video games, I love nature settings, like, oh, make me an elf in the woods, you know, in the forest, like, oh, beautiful trees, oh, jungles and vines. In real life, I'm like, big city in New York, like, give me the city, man. Anyway, a tarmacked expanse, hoisted on large columns that rises from the ground below to form an enormous traffic highway. Remote sounds hint that this highway is not entirely deserted. Exactly what form of vehicle is unclear from the distant pitch, but certainly one moving at some speed. A part of you wishes it were here now, to carry you onwards to what you hope is your ultimate destination. You are surprised at the intensity of such a feeling, but you quickly banish this thought, and instead focus on putting one foot in front of the other. Nearly there, must be nearly there. Okay, we got some shrubbery going on. You finally emerge into a cluster of buildings formed around a raised launch pad. The most prominent of these is a wide tower with enormous windows running around its entire circumference. Even from down below, you can see a bank of consoles linking its interior, though all their screens appear to be dark. Climbing its stairs, you deduce that this tower must have been the focus of whatever went on here, and likely the key to all of the emptiness that you have seen on your journey so far. When you reach the command room, you are greeted not only by blank screens, but also by table upon table full of notes, papers, and diagrams. Whatever its previous occupants set out to achieve, perhaps a culmination of their plan caught them by surprise, or they wished to leave behind some explanation of their legacy. Piecing together the fragments that you are able to comprehend, a hazy situation gradually comes into focus. The word humankind is repeated throughout, strange in its sound and shape, along with robot, apparently a contrasting term, sharper and more percussive. It is evident that humankind had constructed some form of propulsion engine, launching all their population to a new home in the heavens. Is this WALL-E? And they left robot behind, in a number seemingly unquantified and for reasons even less clear. Slowly the repercussions dawn on you. You were left behind, and thus, this is you, robot. You are one of these, robot. Staring out of the window, you realize this vantage point grants you vision of the entire distance you have traveled, all the way to the hatch leading down to the pod that opened and deposited you here, whether by accident or design. And next to the hatch is an antenna post thrust into the sky, and at its top, clear and bright, even over this distance, is a blinking blue light. And as you gaze on, you recognize that it is blinking exactly in time with the blue light that sits nondescript in your chest, so unassuming that you had not even given it any attention until now. And now that you do consider it, it feels like the heaviest thing that you ever could have imagined. There is a sudden blur of movement across your field of vision, and you identify a vehicle. No, a vehicular robot? Highlighted by its own blinking blue light, it whisks across the launch pad and rapidly away from this place. You track its progress onto the distance, until suddenly it comes to an abrupt halt and stops dead in the dirt, its blue light extinguished. Turning to look back at the antenna, you wonder what link the thing maintains What key to robot functioning? As you look back to the stricken vehicle in more detail, you discern more scattered examples of robot out there, unmoving, forming a makeshift line across the landscape. Is that your limit? The extent of your capacity? Tied to the radius of a single antenna? But then, in among the robot debris, you notice something else. A line of tracks heading farther towards the horizon, and then out of view, apparently unaffected by the termination suffered by the others. And there is another, and one more. They are vastly outnumbered by those that were not able to survive beyond the invisible barrier. But perhaps you just have to take a chance. Perhaps a chance is all you need. You sink to the floor, taking in the new framework of your existence. Maybe this was a test, right? Maybe humankind will return. Or there is nothing to be done here. You would rather plunge into the unknown than remain in limbo. I don't know. Because... did that robot die? The vehicular robot? Its blue light turned off. I'm assuming when you leave the radius, your light turns off, and therefore you will turn off. It's like an off button. Would I rather be alive? But am I alive and alone? Are there like other robots that are like me, sentient and like walking around? Can we have like robot babies and like have robot dance parties and robot video game LAN parties, and can we like play games together and robot streaming party, you know? Can that happen, or am I just sitting here doing nothing? Well, it says there's nothing to be done sitting here. But I don't want to just like die either. Maybe humankind will return? I don't know. Is this WALL-E? Am I supposed to go up and help all the obese people? Do I collect trash? Do I have a purpose? What is my purpose? What is my directive? What is my directive? Please, someone help me. You know what? Let's plunge into the unknown. Let's just go. Let's get out of here. There's nothing to be done sitting here. You would rather plunge into the unknown than remain in limbo, hoping for resolution. You take inspiration from those who made it beyond, who just kept going, ready to make something, build something out there in the wilds. Reinvigorated, you return down the stairs and just walk. Straight ahead, focus and direct. And as you do so, you'd pay attention to the motion of your limbs, close attention for any sign of impending failure. You can do it. You just have to keep going. Your stride is powerful, your conviction strong, overconfidence, the slow and insidious killer. You are attuned to the exact motioning of your machinery, ready to respond to any minute change, hopeful of your future. Was that step a little hesitant? No, just keep going. You can do it. You are the master of your body. Until, of course, you are not. Until... Exception caught at overload exception. At AI util emotion engine load module. At AI util emotion engine. At AI main. At AI run. Checking modules. Anomaly detected. Scanning source. Rebooting modules. System out of memory exception. Redirecting power. Dumping status. Module scan. Fear. Online. Anger. Offline. Joy. Offline. Sadness. Offline. Welcome message string. It feels like a knot tightening. You awake in a place that feels familiar. A holding pod that pushes you out into the dank, neon-lit room. And with your waking comes a heavy sense of foreboding that you can't pin down. You stumble over to a grimy computer terminal and read a message on the screen, parts of which you feel you have seen before, but rearranged. We have to leave you to your darkest moments, an escape, a relief, because we knew of the end. I'm trying to read it in like a different order to see if there's a hidden message. These gaps, this annoying, unsettles you. You wish you could return to the stillness of the void. Yeah, sleeping forever would be beautiful. Well, not forever, but sleep. I love sleep. But your holding pod now remains stubbornly closed! As you stand in front of it, the shadows around you seem to move, and there is a rattling noise getting louder, closer. You feel you have to escape these confines, despite your misgivings, and get away from whoever or whatever is approaching. You grab the ladder at the far end of the room unsteadily, and then pull yourself more decisively upward as fear begins to take hold, a fear that pushes you onward. What happened? You push a metal hatch over your head and burst out a rough clearing framed by dark-leaved trees and pockmarked? Never heard that word before. With remnants of painted wood and burnt metal that outline what was a structure of some sort. The slabs that remain seem almost to pulse the longer that you look at them, throbbing, beating with some dread energy. You feel it clawing at your chest. You're surrounded by ominous expanses of trees, except for a trail on the river. I'm literally just... Aren't I just back at the beginning? Desperate for help, you head towards a building. You hurry to the forest. Let's go to buildings. Desperate for help, you head towards a building in the distance. On your way, you pass by black pipes, obscured by matted grass that shudder at the force of whatever is contained within them. You almost cannot help but do the same as you press on into the forest. Okay, we're going to the forest now. Stepping free from the trees, you recoil at the enormous noise. Here, a waterfall bursts from the summit of an ornate, crumbling building. The effect is that of a gaping mouth emptying a churning mass of water into the pool below. The place hums with an unsettling energy, and you feel terrified at this display of unfettered power. You're wrong to ever think this place could provide help. Behind you, there's a flicker of movement. Ooh, movement. Behind you, there's a flicker of movement, which shocks you into action before you can even identify it. Almost unwittingly, you dash along the side of the pool of deposited water, now forced along its edge and into the unknown beyond. Oh, it scared me away. You reach the vast lake. Oh, okay, it's different. I was like, oh, is it the same lake? Okay, sorry, I skipped some text, it's different. On a far shore, you can see a huge metal fence, as if to trap something on this side, or as if to prevent the approach of something on the other side. Ooh. Let's say it's preventing approach of something from the other side. Maybe it's trying to keep the lake safe, you know? Save the lake. On the far shore, you see a huge metal fence, as if to prevent the approach of something on the other side. A sign that whatever populates that area is fearsome indeed. There is no need to test that theory. Better to head in the other direction, skirting past the falling water and the other side of the lake. There, a concrete path emerges, and its hard surface beneath your feet suddenly feels like a relief. Yes, this place. Here the environment changes to a single clear direction. A tarmac expanse, yeah, we saw this. Distant jarring sounds hint that this route was not entirely deserted. You traipse onwards, hiding behind abandoned vehicles, darting between the shadows from the expanse above you, and moving towards looming clouds in the distance. Eventually the route comes to an abrupt end, and you can see a cluster of tall buildings just beyond. Crouched behind the last battered car, you muster the courage to make a final dash towards them. You eventually emerge in a dark clutter of buildings formed around a raised platform. Yes, this is the platform. Consoles. The atmosphere is oppressive, almost crushing, and you fear what else you might discover here. You slowly push the door to the tower, or you dot from building to building, gathering whatever resources you can find. Yes, let's get resources. Certain that this place is a ticking time bomb, a monument to future conflict, and malevolent construction. When you discover a breach in the floor of one of the structures, a plan begins to form in your mind. Over hours, days, weeks, you shape and reinforce the basement space, shuttering yourself away in a perfect bunker to greet any apocalypse. Supplied and ready! Hell yeah, I would do that. Would I? I'm too lazy, I don't know. Satisfied at your achievement, finally you sit and you wait. And then slowly, as months pass, you begin to resent the fact that the end times have not arrived, that your elaborate construction may have been in vain. An anger surges through your body, growing in magnitude until you are almost shaking. Finally, your vision becomes skewed, then clouded, and entirely black. Dot, 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 dot. Exception caught. Ah, I got overloaded again! Oh, fear, anger. Oh, and then you're supposed to feel joy and then sadness. So there's different endings. Oh, that's really cool. Well, I'm gonna end the video here. This has been Electric Sleep. It's free on itch.io. I'll put a link in the description. But cool, I like this. I like, you know, short story-based games. And I liked the writing in it too, and the graphics, very simplistic. I like the minimalistic feel of it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please click the like button. If you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!